money on my mind, 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 money on my mind. So money is all I think of. Money on my mind, money on my mind, money on my mind, money on my mind, money on my mind.
All right, you guys, money is definitely on my mind. We're just going to skip all the theatrics. We're going to stick all the fancy intro because I have, for the first time, not one, but two very special guests today for you guys on this very important topic I want to talk about. But I'm nowhere near as funny as these two brothers, so I'm just going to let them introduce themselves. Who are you, brothers?
Me first, I guess?
Yes, you first.
Okay, my name is Don Sombra, and you can find me at Don Sombra Forever at Instagram.com. I have my own website, DonSombraForever.com, and I think of myself as a comedian, but I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys to judge. What about you, bud? What's your name?
What's up, y'all? This is JK the Laughing Stoic here. You can find me at j.k._the Laughing Stoic on Instagram. I guess I'm a comedian. I just kind of show up and see if I'm going to be funny. Who knows? But happy to be here. Looking forward to the show.
Yeah, I brought two comedians to talk about something very serious. Let's see how this is going to work out, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you don't know what you're tuned into right now and tapped into, you're listening to Financial State of Minds, where I help people get to the bag, manage that bag, and grow that bag through financial literacy and all things moolah. I'm so grateful to have them on my, I forget what episode, 18, 19, tomato. I don't freaking know. But today, and the reason why I brought these two gentlemen in is to discuss your relationship with money. Yes. So this is a topic I wanted to tackle for a while because money and us, especially in good old America, has a very unique relationship as a individual and as a group, as a culture. Emphasis on the culture. So I'm going to just start as a write-off with this interview, this discussion. What is everybody's relationship with money? When you think of money, the gooda, the cheddar, the guap, the king, what comes to y'all mind? So who wants to go first?
I think of the devil.
Hey,
money's the only thing on the earth that would make somebody betray their own morals without much of a second thought. But that being said, it is a necessary evil because how else would we swap goods and services for each other without some kind of medium in between? So with that being said, I do what I can to not have my hands on it for too long, but I acknowledge the fact that investment is how I get more money to lose later on. And so I do what I can to maintain a proper lifestyle and not spend too much, but not spend too little.
Finances are always a difficult one just because how I was brought up and how my family viewed money. Some people were good with money, some people were not so good with money. I saw a lot more people in my family not so good with money than great with money. And so based off of that experience, I would say my growing with finances as I've matured, now have a much different respect for money than I did when I was growing up. And based off of those things, I believe I see where I could be better, but I also know where I came from. So, it's a working relationship.
doesn't that sound like actual romantic relationship?
Absolutely. It's like you had good intentions, it fell apart, and you were just like, oh, I didn't know it could get this bad, and then it got worse, and then you came back, and you just you don't have no idea what happened. You're just like, I'm starting from square one. Screw it.
Absolutely. And I have a very, different or non-average relationship with money. It's a very logical relationship. It's always been extremely healthy. I'm blessed to say I've never known what it's like to worry about paying for the spot I live.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm in the great minority in general, let alone me being a black male. So that's my relationship with money. But as you kind of mentioned, JK, it changes through time, like a relationship, like a romantic relationship, like a friendship. And one thing I wanted to really touch upon is in our culture, the black culture. And when I mean black, it doesn't just stick with black. It really is a class thing. It doesn't matter if you're black. It doesn't matter if you're Latino. It doesn't matter if you're Asian, Middle Eastern, or white. A lot of your culture is based inherently on the money within the culture or the class within the culture. In our culture, I feel we have a very much a now. Like, we have to have it now, and we want to buy stuff now. So when we get a little bit of money, what's the first thing we do when it comes to shoes? We get Jordans. We get Nikes. We want to spend hundreds of dollars on that compared to, maybe putting it in an investing account. Like, we probably know we should, or sometimes we don't know we should. So it's a very interesting dynamic, which is different between other classes where, okay, you may be a millionaire and you may not even want the Jordans, even though you can buy a dozen of them, no problem. So with you guys, when you guys get a little bit of money, let's talk about what you did with it 10 years ago, and let's talk about what you would do now. Let's just say you got $1,000.
You first this time.
All right.
JK, you just got snitched on. Go.
How dare you? How dare you?
So what would you do as 10 years ago with that 1,000, and what would you do now?
10 years ago. So 17-year-old me, if I had $1,000, I mean, I was relatively smart with my money for the most part. Like, I at least had some common sense. If I had something that needed to be paid for, it'd get paid. But it would not stop me from getting something that I wanted, whether that would be eating out all the time, whether that's maybe a new video game, a new... I would... Every now and then, I'd get some clothes. I wasn't really big on shoes. I know that's really surprising, but I wasn't really big on shoes. I had enough shoes, and if I needed to buy shoes, I'd buy shoes. But I was pretty okay with shoes. If I really spent money on anything, it was like a new console, a new video game, something that could prolong entertainment for the most part. Now, it's like, make sure all the bills are paid. Make sure I have some utilities in the house. Make sure I have, basic everyday living needs. I mean, I've gone through the space of $1,000 went to making sure I could live, for another month or two, because that's what needed to be done. So it's more about prioritizing what's necessary now, and if it's a want or something that's not absolutely necessary, it can wait.
Well, to add on to that a little bit, I have a theory that a lot of people that have issues with spending money, it's not really a money issue, it's more of like a dopamine issue. It's the rush of going out and buying something to make yourself feel good for the moment. And I myself am guilty of that at times, where I go out and splurge at a thrift store for $100 and buy 5 suits and, go home and I have a victory because I didn't have to go over to JCPenney and pay $250 for one suit. I got 5 freaking suits instead of just one. I got to go get them tailored, but I would have to go get the JCPenney suit tailored as well. So, yeah, instead of that, just go to J. Crew.
Absolutely. What would you do with that if you were 10 years ago?
Oh, 10 years ago, forgive me. Pretty much the same thing, except I wouldn't have been as smart about where I spent the money. I still would have gone out and spent it just to feel good, usually on food. So about 10 years ago, I was eating pretty good. Actually, that was right around the time I met Dimples. I met my lady around 10 years ago, so I was spending money on myself a lot because, we're getting out of a relationship. You're trying to feel good. That's it. I just want to feel good.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what you just mentioned was very important, is that and that's where the emotion comes in. You just said it. I wanted to spend money so I can feel good. There's a feeling behind it, and that's what makes me unique. And I won't say I'm completely acquitted from the feeling of it. Even I do it, but I'm pretty good about not having that feeling. I was just taught to save the money. So, okay, Darrin, your bills are paid. You got everything you want. I didn't really want a lot, so I would just save it. Really that simple. I would just save it. Honestly, I was a better saver back then, 10 years ago, than I am now. Now is, and this might be kind of a shocker for a lot of the listeners, Now I understand that feeling of, oh man, like I worked 50 hours. I want to go out and get a good steak dinner because I earned that steak dinner because I worked 50 hours in a week. That's my way of rewarding myself. Being an entrepreneur, you're not always rewarded in dollars for your work. So I will work 50 hours in a week and only probably get paid for 15 of it, 20 of it. So me rewarding myself is really important because, you know, this is a lifestyle I've chosen, but you want to keep yourself going because this is a lifestyle that you got to keep building and building and going on. And for you to, again, work 50 hours and only, you know, sometimes get paid. Sometimes you're paid 15 hours of your work. Sometimes it's 30. Sometimes it's the whole 50. You never know. So, like, I've been finding myself going out to nice places to eat, not only for business meetings, but just to also reward myself as an entrepreneur, like to keep going, even though I'm spending more money necessarily than I actually make.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of counterintuitive, especially being a financial coach. But the important thing is to recognize it.
Yeah.
The important thing is to recognize that absolutely, like, oh man, this blind guy is over here working hard and tooting and booting and all over the Bay Area. And
very interesting phrase.
I know where I
I'm like, I didn't know we started using that in finance. I didn't know that's what it's called. I didn't learn that in class. That's something new. I know it's from a song, but that's a special.
Can I understand toots and boots?
What part is toots and what part is boots? Is it the checking or the savings?
Toots is the spending, boots is absolutely.
So you can toot a boot, but you can't boot a toot. That's the difference.
Sometimes my vernacular is like, where did that come from?
you for like 2 seconds you thought of something else, you thought of a song, and then that's just how it slipped in there.
Yeah, I know,
and
right?
You're just like, I didn't know that was going to happen. Well, now we have a whole new system now called Toots and Boots, and if you can put that together, you're going to be financially successful.
That's going to be the name of my course coming soon.
Toots and Boots,
where I will educate you guys on how to manage your money and not have that type of relationship where you have to feel like you have to have that positive feeling that goes with money, but it's so natural.
Yeah,
it's so natural. Another question is, what was your parents' relationship with money? Because what I find is we inherit our initial relationship with money from our parents. It's almost identical. Whatever relationship your mother, your father, or both have is the relationship you have initially. So talk about that. Like, do you guys think there's a similarity or difference?
I would like to associate my relationship with money to my upbringing. You know, I was born in a manger, and Daddy was a farm hand, Mom was a farm tool. Okay, I'm only slightly lying. It's a PG way of saying, yep, I see that on the websites now. That's the main thing. Anyway, so long story short, they were very bad with money. Most of that money went to drugs and alcohol and child support, unfortunately. So we really grew up on the food stamps and the WIC, you know, just eating government cheese and bags of sugar and that kind of thing. So I learned that you don't have to be living lavish to live a good life. You can survive just fine on cardboard bread and, you know, a little bit of milk from the condensed box. But at the end of the day, you don't need to, you know, like I was saying earlier today with JK over here, you don't need to take life so seriously. You know what I mean? So I don't need to go out and buy a lobster every week just to make sure that, you know, yeah, I'm doing great. It's cool to just go get a burrito at Metro Taquero. It's like $35 for 2 burritos. You know what I mean? And that's more than a lobster right there. So right. I'd say I'm living good at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, JK?
That's a good question. When it comes to money in that regard, or how my parents viewed money, Pops, from what I know about him, it was more so that everything was about money. Like, even against family, it was about money. Mom had a weird thought process on money where it could work this way, but if it was something... Impulsivity. It's a better way to look at it. Impulsivity was very much the factor into it. Luckily, it wasn't on drugs and alcohol, but it was, still something that was detrimental, because as you are coming of age to where credit cards are there and you have a job and you're trying to understand how your finances are working as a teenager, if your parents don't have a great idea about how money works, or their viewpoints on money are not healthy, you will develop the same relationship until it is unlearned, because then you just take on what your parents take on. And it's, carbon copy almost, unless you get taught something different and you have a different experience with it. So I am unlearning a lot of what I was taught about money. And is it painful? Yes. But it's also necessary, so that way I know exactly what I don't want as I move forward with my life.
I want to add on to that real quick.
Of course.
You do adapt what you learn from your parents just a little bit. So instead of, buying heroin, I started buying weed instead.
Gateway drug.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed at that gateway. I'm kind of like the doormat at this point. I'm like the bouncer. You're 21?
Yeah, I'm usually standing right now next to him, just like, are you sure you're supposed to be here?
Yeah, I might as well be part of the poster on the wall, Like, I've been there for my whole life at this point, my adult life.
Mine's is, again, pretty unique, being blessed to be in a 2-parent household. I'm not sure if I've ever shared this, but my dad made it clear we could have had a bigger house. We could have been in the Hayward Hills. But my dad had the most ingenious plan that I've ever heard, probably to this day. They picked the house that we're at right now because their idea, my dad's idea, was make it so that one parent can pay for all the bills. The other parent, that income is extra and goes to savings account.
Smart.
Because just in case one of the parents can't work, you don't have to worry about the house being lost and the lights being cut off. And what's crazy is that's exactly what happened. I lost my mother at 18 years old.
Wow.
And we kept almost the exact same lifestyle. Just the extras were cut out. But I was still in the same house, same furniture, lights still on, and stability, exactly. And I noticed there was that correlation. If you grew up in an environment that was stable, usually the money was stable. If you grew up in an environment that was not stable, usually the money was not stable.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed there's a direct correlation, and it really does impact not only your life as an individual, but your relationship with not only money, but with other people, especially in a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you grew up completely unstable and you find that normal, or that's all you know, then that's what you're going to seek. Mm-hmm. Unless you know better or you seek better. And if you do, or if you don't, you get in a situation like you said, JK, you have to start unlearning. And there's people, and that's part of my passion, is I want to teach people about finances, because sometimes you do have the sense of like, I don't want to live like this, but I don't know what the answer is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's a lot of the difficulty too. It's like, I know what not to do. And a lot of people think because you know what not to do, that doesn't always translate to what to do.
Well, there's knowing, and then there's applying what you know.
That's
right.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's I learned that a long time ago, is that you can know something, but unless you apply it, you know how to apply it in your everyday life, you don't actually know what you're talking about or what you're doing. Because to have knowledge is one thing. To be able to apply knowledge, which would be actual power, actual, experience and growth, that goes into it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, moving on to another question. And this is a question I'm really excited to ask you too, personally, especially since one of us is in a relationship.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm the only one.
Yep. I talked to a lot of people before that jumping on this episode with you guys. And again, thank you guys for jumping on so last minute.
Thank you for having us.
But us being three men of color, I noticed that, and especially in good old America,
Mm-hmm.
there is a direct correlation with men and money.
Mm-hmm.
There's a correlation that men need to make the money in order to be considered desirable by a woman.
Yes.
Maybe that's not the sole reason, but that's definitely in the top 3 reason. If we just keep it at 100, that's definitely a top 3 reason. Let's talk about that. Like, we live in a society where we have to bring in the bacon. What are your guys' thought on that in 2022? We're in a world where that the roles are changing, dynamics are changing, but in a lot of the world, it's still very much seen as you're the man. It's your job to what we call provide and protect. So I'll let you start this off. What's very unique about my upbringing is that my mother made more money than me. Than my father, sorry. Not much more, but she did. My mother made more money than my father, and my mother was more educated than my father.
Wow.
And the majority of my cousins to this day, the women make more money than the men. To be frank, the majority of my cousins that I'm close with, they make more money and they are of higher education. So I grew up in this weird world where women made more money than men. Women were outright on a financial level more successful and more educated than the men in my family. Not to say that all the men were doing absolutely nothing, but that was the dynamic. When I popped out into adulthood, ooh, yeah.
Learn real quick.
Yeah, that is not the dynamic. So it's been interesting because there's a part of me that wants to date a woman that makes as much money or more money than me, especially me being so financially minded. But I know the expectation in my history has been I've made significantly more money than what my exes or my past partners have always made. Always kind of been a struggle in me in the dating world because, well, it's kind of hard to find women who make 100K. It's kind of hard to find women to make 150K and stuff like that. But that's kind of the uniqueness of my upbringing and how I see the world. But how about you two? How would you guys kind of feel about that?
As Don Sombra stares at me going, it's your turn. Well, so my viewpoint on that in regard is men should be making the money in terms of the dynamic. I'm not saying that it cannot happen. I'm saying there's exceptions to the rule and there's the generality. The exceptions to the rule is that men and women both are making money and actively working together in unison so they can each meet their values and goals to provide for their future kids and families. That's an exception to the rule in 2022. The generality is, and that's usually how it's been going back to prehistoric ages where it was hunter-gatherers, right? I'm not saying that, I want to make sure I'm clear. I don't want to say that women can't not do what men can do. I'm saying is biologically and in terms of what society has shown is that it is preferred that the man take responsibility of taking care of the finances and being able to provide and being able to protect. And it is naturally more associated for a female to make sure that the home and that the kids are taken care of. And like I said, there are exceptions to the rules, and I grew up in a single parent household where it was just my mom. I've seen how women can handle and take care of things, right? But can I say, honestly, that I know my mother would have preferred a man to also have been in the house, to also have maybe shouldered that burden better? Yes. And so when it comes to any relationship that I've been in, is that, they may make more money than me, but I never asked for money from my partner. I always make sure that it's my money. If we're going to go do something, I'll pay for it. If we're splitting something, that it has to be mutually agreed upon and it has to be for a specific reason. But my family's from the South, so it's like if you ask a lady out on a date, you pay for that date. You don't expect her to pay for it or go halves on it. If you ask somebody out, even if you're trying to talk business with even a person or going out with your friends, use your money. Unless it is an event where it's like your birthday or something else, or you make an arrangement with somebody, you usually should be spending your cash that you've earned, even if that other person is making more money than you.
Well, I hear both of your, what did you both believe here, and I got to say I'm somewhere in the middle, to be honest with you, because as the primary protector provider in my relationship, it's not necessarily that has to be my role because I'm biologically predisposed to do it, It's more that the lack of certain traits within the relationship require me to fill them because I'm the more malleable of the two of us. So while she is more stable in who she is and what she believes and what she does, including, having her own business and making her own money, I had to fill in the role of she's the more emotional of the two of us, right? So I had to be the more emotionally stable person out of the two of us, and the primary provider because her business doesn't make a terrible amount of money, but it keeps the roof over our heads, the food in the fridge, in the pantry, and gas in the car. That's all we could really ask for. But if it really came down to it, in every relationship, there's one person that's a protector, one person that's a provider, right? And it's interchangeable. It doesn't matter what gender you identify as. But it doesn't necessarily align always with gender roles, so sometimes the woman is the protector and provider, and the man is the one that takes care of the home. Mm-hmm. And in those relationships, it only works because they're openly communicating with each other about their wants and needs from each other. And I know we're financially minded here, so when it comes to the money, I'm more of the outgoing person, like I was saying, out of the two of us in the relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that's more willing to expand my horizons and portfolio and try to get more streams of revenue in than she would be. So in that respect, I'm the one that's grabbing her hand, leading her into the future, going, hey, this is how we're going to make a crap load of money together. And the problem is we're bad at saving. So, we fall victim to that feeling good by spending money thing. And that's the main issue with a lot of financial issues in relationships is they're trying to spend money to feel good, and it's a temporary fix because what you're really trying to do is feel good with the person that you're partnered with, not necessarily, how much money you're making.
Absolutely. That's so great. It's so true, too. And it doesn't even have to be romantic relationship. I like, JK, what you said earlier. It's like even if it's a business meeting, a business gathering, you want to spend money, especially if you're the one who, who's, I'm looking for the word right now, bringing it to the table, putting it together. You're the starter. Like you're the one who did it. So, and that's really like where that's why I really started to relate it to this idea of feeling good as a man. Like I was taught, even because even though my mother made more money, it was literally only about I think the number was like 10, 15,000. So we're not talking that much of a difference. Mm-hmm. So my father still taught me the ways, like if you ask a lady out, you have to pay for the whole meal. Mm-hmm. But even this is 10 years ago when I was dating, girls all the time be like, oh no, let's just split it. And it's kind of weird because like as a man, it's almost like going back to the feeling, if you block my ability to fully pay for the meal, I don't feel as good compared to if we just split it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm not doing my job as a man, as a provider, to be able to go, hey, let me have the privilege of taking you out and spending some time with you out of your busy day. Let me pay for everything. If you just offer a split, there's so much psychology about that split. Like, oh, okay, like it's 50-50. Does that mean that you don't like me in that way? Or you're not attracted? Or do you just want to be friends? Like, there's so much that goes just into that. Like, because I've had those moments when girls are just like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Let's split the bill. Clearly communicating that's a date. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's always interesting how we have these dynamics with money in relationships, regardless if it's a friendship, a business relationship, or a romantic relationship. So that's why, again, I feel it's great to have these discussions. And there's definitely another question I want to drop on you guys, but before I do that, I just want to remind the listeners where they're listening. It's KGPC, you guys. 96.9 FM. You're tuned in to Financial State of Minds, the show where I help you get to the bag, manage that bag, and grow that bag as best as possible through financial literacy and all things moolah. I'm blessed to have two very funny individuals here, the Don himself and the JK himself over here, blessing me with their time. And we're talking about relationships with money. What does yours look like?
May I say something real quick?
No.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry, I even asked.
This is my show, bro.
I shouldn't have said anything.
You just said to be my drop, my brother. Come on, man. You know that's
your drop finished.
No, just interrupt him.
Go ahead, kind sir, kind my brother.
One of the things that I've also noticed, kind of on the relationship with money, is that if you have money, you're nicer sometimes. But if you sometimes, I don't want to say it's permanent, but you're more open to helping somebody else out if they ask for it. If you know you have it, your confidence is better. So when you're going and approaching anything, whether business, friendship, relationship, you feel confident that the fact that your finances are in order. When your finances are not in order, it is not really all that great to go out and talk to people. Mm-hmm. Just something that I'm sure many people have recognized.
I disagree, though. And this is the reason why. Because of my relationship with money, I don't really feel any kind of personal relationship with it. In a sense, it's, like I said, a necessary evil. So I'm more than willing to give somebody the money that I just got, like as a windfall, than keep it for myself. Because it may have been a lucky little, hey, $60 because you cremated my grandma. Thank you for doing a good job. Hey, no problem. I'm going to go out and spend it and give that as a tip to somebody at the bar. Because for some reason I just don't feel like I earned it. So at that point I don't want it. I just want to give it to somebody else that's actually going out and earning their money right now. That being said, even though I am consistently broke, I am more than willing to go out and give money to people in more need than I feel I am in.
It's because he's a comic.
Hey, well, we're all three gentlemen that are blessed to do what we love to do.
Absolutely.
And that has actually changed them out dramatically. I used to be a person, money came before your passion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jordan knows that, personally. That was my mindset. F your passion if that means your passion's not paying for the bills.
Yeah. A lot of bad artists.
And I believe that literally until I discovered entrepreneurship and really, I would say really embraced it when I discovered radio. So very recently, literally like 4 months ago. And I'm, just to kind of talk about me personally in this group,
Fine.
You're
the host, aren't you?
Not to the listeners. They already know this thing. To you guys. Who else am I telling this to? The 100 of listeners that are listening to. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, listeners. I love you guys so much.
The ether.
But it's funny what Jordan said about confidence. And Don, it's funny what you said about how you feel differently. And that's the point I'm trying to bring up. It can be different. It's funny because my confidence also had nothing to do with money. Because I've always been good with money. So it wasn't until recently when I would start putting myself into debt to be able to do the things I want to do for entrepreneurship that, kind of my confidence started to waver. Like, I've actually told myself many times I can't go on as many dates as I would like because I'm in debt. What woman would want to date a man who's in debt?
Just drowning.
Just
women right now.
Yeah. That's really how I feel currently feel that way. And that's kind of been unique because even though my relationship with money has always been solid, it's not like I've had the same amount of money since I was 18 and 25 and 30. Like, it's changed dramatically. But what's funny is the confidence still wasn't connected. Like, I'm definitely more of a confident man at 32, even though I'm tens and K in debt, compared to even 29 when I had literally no credit card debt, but I was less confident. So it could be both. It could be related to money, your confidence as a man, and it cannot be related. And I love how we just have this dynamic where it could be different. And I want the listeners to know that it's all on the individual and it's all on the relationship with the money. Don't let the money, and this is the question I'm going to ask you guys, do you feel in this society that money has this status or this thing that makes people inherently better?
No. just solid no on that one, but you would elaborate. I'm pretty sure you're going to go the same.
This is your time, Don. I
Oh,
want
okay,
you to have
fine.
a good time.
Okay, so
Got you back.
the bottom line is the money, I believe, is completely separate from personality in the sense that who you are as a person doesn't necessarily dictate how much money you have. Because I've met people that are probably the nicest people on earth that are rich as all get out, and then I've met some people that are about the same amount of rich and total a-holes. You know, so that I think is completely separate, but I do firmly believe that the three things any man should be is equitable, steadfast, and forthright. Everything that he does. That being said, you just want to bring value to everybody around you and uplift the people around you. And, you know, it's kind of like Mount Everest. You want to look at it like that. It's not like it's 29,000 feet in a straight line like a pencil. You know, it's like it's wide and then it's skinny at the top. So all these people that are under you that you're lifting up around you, lift you up with them. And, you know, that's the primary focus of any person, any man specifically, thinking in life.
Yeah, I would agree. I would also add to that is that, well, when you're dealing with money in that regard, right, I've met Abraham Lincoln. I'll rephrase this. Abraham Lincoln said it best: if you'd like to test a true character of a person, give them power, right? Now, money isn't a direct correlation with power, but in terms of what it can get you, that is very powerful in terms of the tool that money is. And so in that regard, like Don, and I'm sure like you, Darren, is that when you meet people, if they're kind, they're genuinely kind, regardless of what their financial situation is. And if you're cruel, they're cruel. And if they have money, they're just more cruel. If you have more of anything, especially when it comes to affluence, influence, power, you know, access, really, in terms of also resources, if you're just a cruel person, you're a cruel person, and that's just who you are. And if you're given the opportunity to make lots of money and you're a cruel person, you are just as cruel as ever because you have the ability to be as cruel as possible. And when you're kind and have money, lucky enough is that you can really do some really kind things because you have the ability to do so. Someone who gives $1 million to a charity that's helping people out and has that money because they're going to make that money back, that's and they're kind because they don't have to do that. If you make millions of dollars, you don't have to do that. Now, there's obviously benefits, as I've heard on your show, tax write-offs and stuff. Yep. But that's right. But if you're doing that and do it in general, not a lot of people are just going to go out of their way and say, I'm going to spend $1 million on a charity. So
yeah, that's right.
Money, I would say, just showcases more of who you are than adding or subtracting to who you are.
Gotcha. So you guys don't generally believe that money would actually change people's behaviors like that dramatically?
No, it does. Okay. No, this is the thing, is that the behavior is different from personality yet again. Because at the end of the day, if you get a windfall worth of, you know, like let's say somebody threw $20 million on your lap right now and was like, the reason why I'm giving you this money is because I need you to kill X amount of people. Right?
Extreme results.
And if you don't do that, then not only are we going to take the money, but we're also going to kill you and your family. Right? That's completely against what you believe in as a person, I would assume.
Right.
But because of the, you know, the duress of the situation, you might go about doing this task to make sure that, I mean, you got the money at the end of it. Are you going to be happy about having it? You know what I mean?
Right.
But you still had to act in this way because somebody put you in a predicament like that. And that's what I think that, like, I compare that to, like, getting a record label as an artist. You know, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, we're going to pay you the X amount of money, but you need to go out and do this many shows and perform this song and write this way. And so I genuinely believe that at the end of the day, you need to be happy outside of money, right? In order for you to actually maintain a healthy lifestyle, regardless of how much money you have. And that just separated, you know what I mean? Separated completely.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. We always have those questions like, would you do this for $1 million? Would you do this for $2 million? Would you do this for $5 million? And
what's your price?
Like, what's your, yeah, exactly. What's your price? I mean, even I've said it on the radio. Like, if someone said, hey, Darren, here's a $250,000 job. Come work for me. Oh yeah, all this is gone. All this is gone because, and I think that ties to your goals and what you want personally.
Yeah.
And there's this theme I've heard about money recently, is that we all know money is a social construct.
Yeah.
Like money just didn't appear on planet
It's
Earth.
agreed upon based on
right.
the society and what term of currency is being traded in between people.
As a medium of trade.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
See, we're smart comedians.
yes,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's smart. I don't bring dumb people on my show. Funny people, but not dummies. Funny for dummies.
Funny for dummies.
But I guess what I was trying to say is, I understand that everybody has a price, and that's because of the world we live in America, where this is a capitalist society. This is not a social society where everything is essentially paid for us.
Everything's for sale.
Right, everything's for sale. You get assigned what jobs, all this crazy stuff that I respect it, but I'll leave it alone. But for you guys personally, let's actually just say that. Let's just play that game. Name your price. Is there a price for you guys to do something that you... Let's take the extremes, like
Yeah, I was
killing
gonna say,
people.
let's do specifics, and
Yeah.
then just throw a number out.
Yeah,
We play that like a game.
Let's just say, well, we have to go. It's a morals game, so like everyone's morals are different. So let's all agree on a moral that we wouldn't do. So like, let's just say, let's not go crazy like kill people. That's kind of like a.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
wouldn't eat dog crap off the ground.
Okay, let's do
Is
eating
that
dog
your
crap.
red line? Like, this as far as you'll go?
I mean, I would never do it, so I made sure to like really put something out there. But if you're gonna give me a price, then like that might be something that I like. Okay, if this is really gonna go down, I might have to do something this bad.
All right,
Oh.
$2 million for wet dog duke.
Ooh, $2 million.
$2 million,
Well,
and it has to be wet, not the dry white stuff.
500,000 is going to my hospital bills.
So
The other 500,000 is going to therapy.
taking the money.
I was just like, I know exactly what this is going to after I've done it. I'm just like immediately going to the hospital. I'm immediately going to go to therapy.
Oh my god.
Ice cream cone and make it a little easier.
$2 million. I mean, I think that's fair. If you're going to do something that disgusting, $2 million, I think I'd be all right with that.
Chihuahua soft serve.
Chihuahua saucer. Oh, we're getting the bulldog kind of poopy, doggy poopy,
no.
or cat litter
I think it's
poopy?
just bad regardless. I don't think you can even like no matter how many names it's still bad. It's still crap from an animal. I don't think it's healthy to eat. So, yeah, $2 million. I think I'd do it for $2 million.
Bulldog is the only dog where the turd looks more attractive.
Shot at bulldog.
I hate bulldogs so much,
my
and they breathe like animal. Like, I mean, they are animals. You know what I'm trying to say, though. Like,
To all the
that-
people who have bulldogs, we
that
apologize to
stunted
you guys.
snout. I'm not sorry.
I am not jumping
That
into
is
this.
torture.
I'm a
That's-
dog lover. Wink,
That's
wink.
a tortured existence. If they could speak English, they'd go, "Kill me." So yeah, I don't have any remorse. Anyway, so numbers.
Oh man, so Jordan will eat
Dog dude.
$2 for $2 million. I said $2.
Someone might get hurt if you say $2 million and I see $2. I think that would be a
Just wrote a bunch of zeros on it. It's a $2 bill.
$2 bill.
horrible.
With Trump's face.
Oh,
Don, $2 million for some good old pit bull dog poo.
Put bull-
disrespectful.
Oh man,
It's disrespectful.
you gotta make sure the pit bull's gone. He might turn around and bite my ass.
Oh my god, $2 million for the doo doo though. You gonna do it?
$2
You gonna
million?
do the doo doo for $2 million?
Eat dog doo for $2 million. It has to be wet.
Yeah.
No, I'm bumping that up. Give me a cool $5 million. You know, I'm not gonna ask for the world, but you know, I got to be broken off pretty good. $1 million won't last me a year. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm moving out of California, so that's gonna last.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Rock with me. I'll teach you how to turn $1 million into it. No problem.
We're going to Vegas right now.
Yeah, that's first rule. Move out of California. Move to anywhere that's not named California, New York.
You're addicted to gambling and cigarettes.
That's right. That's right. That's a good question. When I eat wet dog duty for $2 million.
This is a great radio conversation.
This is great. This is definitely financially minded.
It's quality KGPC 96.9 radio, right?
Yep. Best show you're gonna listen to.
Got to represent.
Would you do it?
Yeah, for
And it's
how
wet.
much?
I-
and it's wet.
I
And it smells.
I want to say
It's
no.
recent.
I want to say no because I generally don't want to do something that could compromise my health long term.
Don't worry, you have $500,000. You can dedicate that to your health. It doesn't matter. Would you do
Bruh,
it?
I'm blind. I don't know what that's going to do to my glaucoma.
It might
It
make
could cure
I
it.
don't know.
That might be the secret that we're all looking for.
But for $2 million, what I'm trying to do and what I live for, I think just knowing myself, if it was for real, I probably would do it. Like
$2 million?
for $2 million, because especially, and what's funny is, would I have done it even 4 years ago? No. But I know what I can do with $2 million now and how I can flip it. So I would think of it as, no, this is not $2 million. This is $10 million in 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's why I would probably do it. But if it was 27, if I was like 27 years old 5 years ago, no, because I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know that, okay, if someone handed me $1 million, I can literally go out and instead of buying a whole one house in California in straight cash, I can go and buy 5 houses, rent them all out, make $2,500 to $5,000 in rent income, and now I'm retired. So I didn't know that.
Smart.
Because I didn't know that, I would go, $2 million? Brother, I need 10. Because I didn't know how to make 2 out of 10. But now that I know how to make 2 out of 10, yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. I love my niece and nephew too much, and there's people I love too much. Yeah, Uncle Darren's eating wet dog food. Thank God they're 11 and 9, and I don't say their names because they ain't never going to listen to this anytime soon.
They would never let you live this down.
Oh, no. No.
It'd be like those snuff films. And put you in a plastic bag with holes cut out for everything.
No, yeah.
Oh,
Your identity.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, as long as, oh, yeah, now, put it on camera, ooh, that's a totally different dynamic. Like, put it on camera for everybody.
Royalties now. We're talking about royalties.
Royalties, I mean, you know that goes viral.
You're going to be a meme.
You're going to be a meme.
You have to be a meme after that.
social
If it's
embarrassment.
2022 and you put that video up there, I guarantee you will be a meme in less than 5 seconds of the uploading that video. It's going to be immediate. There's going to...
There's only 2 people that would sponsor some crap like that. I mean, no pun intended.
There's a pun.
It would be like Steve-O from, I guess I have to say Jack Butt.
Yeah. Steve-O.
Steve-O or Mr. Beast. And either way, you're getting some attention.
Interesting enough that this financial show has talked more about what we would eat for
What's
the
your
cost.
price?
I mean, we talked about it, but I also wanted to bring up a point isn't most people who win the lottery, so, like, it's usually, like, the statistic is that they end up losing all that money within the next, 3 years after getting it?
Yeah, it's like, I think within the first 5 years, the vast majority of people who win the lottery ends up losing the money. So, actually, they end up being poor. So they end up being poorer than where they were when they won the money.
They put themselves in debt.
And so I guess that goes to show the relationship with money, kind of bringing it back full circle, is that if you don't have good habits with money to begin with, and you were given the opportunity to have a lot of money, it is more likely than not you're going to fall back into and be in a worse situation with money because you had no idea what you were doing with it, and it was your relationship with it initially was poor, that your spending habits were horrible. You went through a ton of money that could last you a very long time in the right situations.
Forever.
And you wasted it within a 3-year period of time because you thought you were a big baller for a moment and gave your money away in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. And I even talk about it I say on the show all the time, it's actually not about how much money you make. It's about how you manage it and how much money you actually spend. When I teach people how much money they need to retire, it has actually very little to do with what they make. It has more to do with what your current expenses are, how you see yourself spending money 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And I give them. It's all actually math. For us in this room, really, for our ages. Don, how old are you?
Oh, me? 29. I'm going to be 30 soon.
So we're all around the same age. It literally, if you save, on average, 30 to 40% of your income, and you kept doing that for 20 years, you would retire in 20 years, 20, 25 years. Give or take of where you live and your expenses, where you live, and who you're taking care of.
So you said 30 to 35%?
Yeah, 30, 35% of your income.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
That's how much the state takes out in taxes.
Pretty much. Go into business.
So if you made $600 after taxes and you put 30 to 35% of that away, you are now left with $275.
Isn't it just $200?
Mm-hmm.
I'm horrible at math. You shouldn't have asked me that question.
Oh my God, we're so derailed. But I do want to give the listeners some game, as far as okay. So we all have our different relationships with money. It can look different, and there's no really right or wrong way to go about it. As long as your relationship is healthy, is what is important. It's what I hope to get and to give, to all my listeners throughout the lifespan of this show, which hopefully is forever. But Damn, I'm gonna die though.
I'll be there for you, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, get your life insurance policy so I can get buried properly. Because I would be buried like a G, like Pac.
Buried, not burned. Buried.
Yeah, not burned, not buried, buried.
So that means you want to be buried with a tree.
Absolutely.
Buried.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I have a will and trust and life insurance, so my funeral is going to be turned. But I do want to convey that there is a way, because there's a lot of, I guess I'll talk about this last and now I'll get into like the advice I want to give is you can have anxiety with money. You can have depression with money. Like, again, we've talked about it this entire show, how there's an emotional attachment to it. So me being a coach, a lot of people, most people don't come to me and be like, hey, Darrin, I am making $250,000 and I save $150 of it. What do I do? They're good. Like, there's nothing really I need to help them with. Most people who come to me are like, Darrin, I got $20K in credit card debt on one Best Buy card. Yeah, that's a real thing, by the way. I'm a single mom of 3 kids.
That APR is probably like 29%.
Yep. I'm a single mom of 3 kids. I got this much on here.
My heart goes out to that girl.
Yeah, like, what do I do? And there's other people where they make, I know a couple who makes nearly $400,000 a year, and I'm more financially stable than they are.
Did they need a boyfriend?
He's taking applications. Please put your resume here.
Let's come together.
Oh my
some
God.
chaff to scrape up, man.
Oh my God. This is the best episode. I'm sorry, flat out. But yeah, like you can make I know a ton of people who make a ton of money and they still are not as stable as I am, and I'm not making a quarter of what they make. So there is a lot of anxiety and depression, and people are afraid to even have that conversation, especially in relationships. I'm not sure if you know this, Dom, but the number one reason people break up is money.
I kind of touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But we're good about talking to each other about this kind of thing, and it keeps us going.
Yeah, absolutely. So acknowledging that there is some emotion, there can be anxiety, there can be fear, there can be, I remember when my parents fought when I was a kid, and they always argued about money. So I'm never going to talk about money in my relationship. So, and that I talk with a lot of couples, especially on the women's side. They do not want to talk about money with their mans because it will start an argument, and they don't want to start an argument. I hear that all the time. So what I want to give the listeners before we wrap up the show, as much as I could make this a 2-hour episode, I would love to make this a 2-hour episode, but our producer is going to kick us out. Oh, crap, I can't even talk about it. We really got to wrap up, so I'll make this quick. How to literally just stabilize yourself or start that process real quick for the listeners, and then we got to go because the producer's about to start yelling at me. You have to have a plan. You have to have a plan, and you have to have goals that are strong enough to keep you going on the plan. Because if you're going strong enough, if your want or your why isn't strong enough, you're not going to go. You're just going to keep blowing money, and you're going to want that instant gratification, all that fun jazz and stuff like that. And then the second thing within the plan is you want to have a budget with yourself. One thing that I've learned is you have to give yourself some money to play with. I used to tell people all the time, like, no, you got $0, cut everything.
No.
Mathematically, that is the best thing to do to get yourself out of debt, but practicality, no one's going to do it.
Right.
They need some type of small reward. So what I tell people is when you have a bad relationship with money, seek somebody who has a good relationship, whether it's someone like me, DM me at Financial State of Minds for all your lovely advice. But also go ahead and just get that. It could just be a mentorship. Just anybody who is good with money, and learn from them and implement what they're teaching, which is going to be a good plan, which is going to include a budget. It's going to include, okay, this is what you can spend on, this is what you can't. Identifying what is a need and a want. Because a lot of people think they need their daily cup of Starbucks. A lot of people think they need to go to comedy shows to see these 2 comedians perform. Do it, guys. It's worth going to debt. A lot of people think they need to get the luxury Mercedes Benz. No. You got to identify that. And really, this is the biggest thing I can tell people. Have savings. Have an emergency fund. Because you knowing you have a safety net, oh my God, it changes the game. Even though I'm $20K in debt right now, I still have $20K in savings. So it's a safety net. And I have 401K, I have a stock portfolio, and I own a home with tons of equity. It's a safety net. So even though I have debt, it's not the same as someone who has none of that. They have nothing, no cash to fall back into. When you have the security of money, it usually inherently makes you more secure. So this is what I advise people to do, and they can find how to do this in detail on so many of my backlog episodes, from teaching you about credit and the importance of that, to financial planning, to having a life insurance policy so that you know that you're straight if something horrible was going to happen to you, alive or dead. All these great things give you security, so you're not having that anxiety, you're not having that depression, so you have the confidence to go make more money or to go have a healthy relationship with your partner, and not a toxic relationship where you're arguing about money all the time, because that happens all the time, you guys. There are people I talk to who are 25 years married, and that's the thing they just don't talk about, is money. And you gotta, and for me, you have to be able to talk about everything in your relationship, including money. So I'm gonna cut it right there. Producer's like, thank God. You have been tapped in and tuned in to Financial State of Minds on KGPC 96.9 FM. Thank you guys for joining me on this very entertaining, quite frankly, the funniest episode you might listen to, because I got two of the best comedians you're going to see. Check them out. Go ahead and plug them in real quick, guys. What's your guys' social so they can go follow you and tap in and watch some amazing stuff?
That is J.K. _ The Laughing Stoic on Instagram.
Oh, forgive me. It's Don't Sombra Forever at Instagram.com.
JK, you literally just stopped. Even I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, dead stop.
And then, of course, you guys can find me at Financial State of Minds on Instagram if you want some good old more financial goodness. And if you want more episodes, you can check it out every Monday, 9 a.m., same bat time, same bat. Dang it. Every single time. Batman, man. He's the greatest. And if you can't make it on those broadcasts, it's okay. Check it out on kgpc969.org for all the episodes, including this one, streaming whenever you want it, and your favorite streaming podcast platform of choice. All right, you guys, we're out of here. Peace, kings and queens. I'm about to go watch a comedy. I know about y'all. Deuces.
Oh, yeah.
So money is all I think of. Money on my mind, money